So, one of the challenges that I faced when I was working on becoming a full-time trader was trying to set correct goals and goals that are not too ambitious but still ambitious, and goals that are not too little or too common. For example, if you've just got a goal to get funded or get one payout or go full-time, those aren't really goals. Those should be side effects of your bigger goals. And this video is going to go through how you can set those big goals and what that actually means, and how you'll be able to achieve all your other goals that you've already got set up as a side effect of your bigger goal.
Funding meant for traders. Ment Funding.
So the question all kind of stemmed from this message here. So one of our members in the Mentavets community, you can join it by heading over to this website. Have a look at that after this video though. One of our members said that they were thinking 1 month prior to getting there or during the evaluation, like, where was your psychology at? So they were asking me how I was doing psychologically around the time of getting funded. During the evaluation, did I have any doubts? How did I feel about it? And the main thing that I want to focus on here is part of the reason behind asking this is because to this member, their rationale is telling them that at this stage of where I'm capable of passing and keeping a funded account, and that all I need to do is just execute my edge on an evaluation to get there, which is correct. So the first point he raises here that is, as long as he's sticking to his plan and he is sticking to his proven statistical edge in the markets, he will achieve a funded account, which is perfect. But obviously, as we know, a way of achieving a funded account is not all strategy. There's a lot of psychology behind it as well. So, however, there is a part of me kind of coping and thinking that I'm missing something. It's just weird because I genuinely think that I'm fully capable of doing it and don't think I'm coping here, but my mind's like, nah, you ain't him, bro. My assumption is that it's just a form of limiting beliefs. Remember that word, I'll focus on that in a moment. I'm just trying to figure if other people have had that before getting funded and to what extent. So, limiting beliefs could be something like if I believe that something has a ceiling. For example, if I think, right, well, there's no other way of getting funded other than having just $100,000 Mentfunding account, and that's all I can get funded with. That'll be a limiting belief because there is loads of other companies you can get funded with alongside Mentfunding. And obviously now, as part of Mentfunding, if you guys have not seen already, we actually offer up to a $5 million scaling plan. So how that works is if you buy any of these, we will scale you to $5 million every single time you meet the criteria. I will be doing a separate video and an in-depth video into how you can do that. However, all the instructions are already on the website. So again, head over there, take a look, and let us know what you think about it as well. Yes, we did remove the 2 million, but we added up to $5 million scaling. Cool. Let's go back to the message. So that is how limiting beliefs work. So he's just trying to find out if other people have had that before getting funded and to what extent. So I had to think about this before I replied, and I gave it, 20, 30 minutes, and then I sent a reply out. And I said, limiting beliefs, like what you've said, is probably the answer. But yeah, I can probably make a video out of this, which is what I'm doing now. In the meantime, I didn't really have any strategical doubts in terms of knowing my plan worked, as I was confident on this aspect, which is how I was at the time. Psychological doubts, I did have some, thinking what makes me so special that I can pass a challenge and be consistent with it. But then I reminded myself that passing the challenge actually means nothing, nor does getting the first few payouts. So remember what I'm saying here. If you pass a challenge, yeah, cool, that's great. But in the grand scheme of things, it's meaningless. The actual challenge is maintaining that account consistently. By shifting that mindset, it forced me to stick to my rules because I knew that passing the challenge or the first payout is not the be all end all. That doesn't define me as a trader. But what does define me as a trader is consistency. A trader's, if you, for example, join a course or jump into trading live for a couple of months, you pass a Mentfunding account, you get a payout. You're not really consistent at that point. Consistency only really comes in 6 or 12 months of consistent results. There's no point of you getting a payout and then blowing the account the next month. That's not really consistent because then you're back to square one. So, what defines me is a consistency, and the only way to measure consistency is by repeating the same processes that have been proven to work over and over and over. This is where the real challenge happens from a strategical perspective, process perspective, and psychological perspective. However, if you set yourself up for success early on, which is what I said that this guy was doing, most people don't. We've seen that a few times. The strategy and the psychology side is usually taken care of. It's then just a matter of being consistent with it, which is a real challenge, as this is where most people fail. Anyone can have a great plan, like I say, but being consistent with that plan, waiting for your trades to come and waiting and allowing your edge to play out, that's where people struggle. People become impatient. People start changing the way that their plan is so they can get involved in more moves, or people just change the whole plan altogether or jump onto a new strategy. Stuff like that does not work nowadays. It's never worked before. It's never going to work in the future, and it does not work right now. You need to stick to one thing and stick to it for a long enough term for it to actually play out. So if you shift your mindset today from the challenge is 10% on this funded account, i.e., like, oh, I have to get 10% to pass this account, that type of mindset, forget that mindset and change the mindset to this challenge is being consistent with my trades for the next 6 to 12 to 24 months. The 10% on your funded account will come as a side effect. What I'm trying to say here is that if you go in a challenge, as we know with Mentfunding, you don't have a time limit. Loads of other prop firms have gone by that as well, but we were basically the first ones to not have a time limit in forex. So as you go into the trading space and go for an evaluation without the element of having a time limit and understanding that however long it takes, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It can take a week for you to reach the profit target. It can take a month. It can take 6 months. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take, but as long as you have consistency in your testing, as long as you have a solid trade plan, as long as you have a proven statistical edge, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take because the end result is always going to be that you will get that funded account. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you focus for the next 6 to 12 to 24 months on being consistent, some point within 0 to 24 months or however long it could be, you will get your funded accounts, you will get your payouts, you will build your personal capital. Now, what I'm trying to, like I've said here, what I'm trying to say now is that if you now take that one step further and if you change your goal to my goal is now that I'm going to be consistent with my trade plan and make no human errors for the next 6, 12, 24 onwards months. Everything else, your funded account, your personal account, your payouts, your new car, your house, your holidays, everything will come as a side effect. Don't set goals that are materialistic type of goals or goals that relate to you passing a funded account. It's great and it's great news that you have done, but your goals need to be set much, much higher. And I'll show you how you can do that in a moment as well. So it's just a point of shifting that mindset to not think that the end goal is passing the account. It might sound counterintuitive because this makes the idea of getting funded worthless, but let's think of it like this. Getting funded is worthless until proven consistency with the accounts. Consistency is where the real success is. Everything else comes as a side effect, and that is the effect of the side effects law. Okay, so I also added, funnily enough, to add to the above, I haven't actually personally achieved any of my goals I set out for myself. Even though, yes, I've got a very good amount in funding that I can easily just go and live a very lovely life with, a very healthy and stable personal account as well, my definition of success has not been met. Everything else that I've already achieved, I don't really like that word because achieving something is a limiting belief in itself because you can always aim for something higher, if you know what I mean. So everything else that I've already achieved is coming as a side effect and doesn't actually mean anything to me in terms of my actual goals. And to summarize, if you've got a goal to pass a funded account or get a prop firm payout, you're not aiming high enough. Yes, they are perfect milestones to have, but they're not actually goals that you should be setting yourself. Okay, these should just come as part of the process to your bigger why and your lifelong goals. If you're part of the Mental Effects community, you will know what I mean by saying the bigger why, because it's something that our mentor Anton focuses on a lot. But if you've not heard of this before, you should set your why. Why do you do this? Why do you do trading? Why do you want to make money? Why do you want to be working for yourself? Why do you want to build that life for your family? Why do you want to why do you want to do amazing things for the people around you? That should be your why. Don't just say, I want to have a good life with my family. Be very specific on what your why is, and then you can work towards stuff like that. And I'll give you an example now in a moment. Okay, so we've gone through the importance of having certain goals. We've gone through the importance of not setting goals such as I want a funded account or I want to pass a challenge or anything like that. Those aren't goals, those are just milestones. So if I head over to our trusted, lovely Figma, what we'll do here is we'll separate this into two sections today, and we will name one goals. Let's just make this a bit larger. That was quite a lot larger, to be honest. And let's call this milestones. Okay, so one milestone, I'm going to move it over so you can see my webcam still. One milestone could be something like passing an account, first payout. And what other milestones could you have? Maybe 3 months consistency is a bit of a milestone as well. It's not really a goal that you should be looking to achieve, but stuff like this is all milestones. Going full-time trading, that's also just a milestone. But a very specific type of goal setting could be something like saving up enough money to provide private education for my 3 kids. That is a very specific goal that you can set. And now, if you think of this, so if we actually copy and paste this, let's move that out here. And now let me show you how you can take this one step further. So this is goal number 1 that we've got written down here. So goal 1 is this. So now you know what the goal is. You know that you need to achieve a few of those milestones, but let's take that even one step further again. What milestones as part of this goal do you need to achieve to reach the end goal? So, for example, if I was to say, let's just make a bit of an arrow here, I'll zoom in a bit on this section now. And let's say in order for this to happen, I need to save, I actually don't know what the numbers are. Let's just assume it's, like £10,000 per year per child for private education. I'm pretty sure it's more, but let's just assume that. £10,000 per year per child for 3 kids equals 30k per year for, let's just say, for like 5 years, just for example's sake. For 5 years equals 150k per year needs saving up. Cool. So now you have your end goal, and now you have your milestone goal. Okay, these can actually be the milestones, and that's kind of like also like a bit of a branch off the end goal as well. So this is like a bit of a very quick one, like a 101 on how to create effective goals basically. And how are you going to achieve that? Well, in order to achieve that, it goes back down to your milestones, and it also ends up going back down to your goals altogether. So your goals should be large enough that your milestones actually come as a side effect. So if your goal is to save up money to provide a private education for your 3 kids, you know that as part of those goals, you need to reach these milestones. Therefore, meaning that all of these things comes as a side effect. And I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, right, well, I could actually flip that the other way around and say, well, if my goals are to get full-time trading, get my first payouts and pass my accounts, then the actual goal in itself will come as a side effects as well. So it's a double-edged wand, I guess you call it. It's not a double-edged sword because it's not a bad thing. It's a double-edged wand, I suppose, double-sided wand or whatever you want to call it. But the point of the matter is here that if you have just your goals looking something like this, you're not doing enough. That's not goal setting. If you have your goals looking something like this, that's already 100 steps ahead. But you can take that 1,000 steps ahead by breaking them down even more. So now when you go back to the Discord messages from earlier and you see our member, kind of maybe worrying about thinking that maybe he doesn't deserve to be funded, well, that should come as a side effect anyway because of all the hard work that he's put in. If he has a goal to, let's say, open up a dog shelter in the future and he wants to be able to give homeless dogs a home, okay? So as part of that, he knows that he needs to save up money for it. He needs to create a specific goal for it. And as part of the milestones and the side effects, they'll all kind of take care of themselves. And what you'll notice is for a lot of your end goals, the milestones and side effects will always remain the same. Yes, there might be one or two more added, but the point is that with trading, you can achieve a lot of your lifelong goals. If you've got a goal to open up a construction firm in the future, you know as part of those goals that you need to save up the money for that. You need to get the expertise in that. You might need to go on some courses, do some shadowing with someone who's already in construction. And how can you do all that? Well, you need to go full-time trading likely first so you can free up some space. And how you're going to go full-time trading, you can use that as a main goal and then say, right, I want to see consistency in my trading for 6 or 12 months before I go full-time trading. Once I go full-time trading, I want to be able to then start working on my construction firm. Okay, so it's stuff like that. So I think we can all understand now that having goals like this is just not enough. It just doesn't cut it, because what happens when you reach those goals? Once you've got your first payout, perfect. Once you pass your account, perfect. Once you got 3 months consistency, perfect. And once you gone full-time trading, perfect. Now what? Like, actually, now what? There's nothing else to actually do. So by building goals and keeping them up to date, you will automatically have sub goals off that, or milestones, or side effects, as I like to call it, that will happen automatically for you to achieve your larger goal. It's impossible for someone, who might be in the average UK salary band of roughly like 27,000 a year to be saving up enough money to provide private education for 3 kids. It's pretty much impossible to do that based on these numbers. And the only way to do that is to actually achieve these milestones. I know I've kind of just messed up this whole thing, so let me just bring this down here. So the only way to achieve that is to reach these milestones, have these side effects take care of themselves. So now, once I have my funded account passed, once I have my first payout, once I have my 3 months consistency, once I've gone full-time trading, I now know that my next job is to now save up money for a certain reason, for a certain goal. Okay. So what I was trying to say to the member here is that by having certain goals and removing those limiting beliefs and setting your goals and your ambitions high enough to a point where it's still realistic, because obviously, a full-time trader is more than capable of putting their kids through private education. And the reason why I use this example is because a lot of you guys can probably relate. If you have kids, you might want to provide the best education for them. So this will relate to you. Or if you don't have kids yet and you're, for example, my age, within the 18 to 30-year-old mark, 18 to 25-year-old mark, you might be thinking, right, well, I didn't have private education when I was a kid, even though I did have really good education. It wasn't private, it's just state. But what I'm trying to say here is that from my perspective, I want to be able to give my kids the best education possible. So that's why I use this example, because it can work for basically everyone. Okay, and that is pretty much how simple this video is going to be. So as a summary, set your goals in a way that your goals are ambitious and you have milestones and side effects that will take care of themselves as a result of you working towards your higher upper tier goal. So a goal of saving up enough money to provide education for 3 kids is going to happen by achieving all these things and also making sure you save the money for it, obviously. And that's how you set ambitious goals and good goals. And it's also important to use measurable goals as well. If you want something to research, have a look into SMART goals. This is something that a lot of companies use, and it's something that my companies have used in the past as well. So SMART goals is a way of setting certain goals in certain ways. And the most important bit that I think about this is the M, where the M stands for measurable. And what that means is that you can measure that goal. So it's pretty difficult to measure full-time trading. It's pretty difficult to measure passing an account, because you don't know if you've fluked it or if you've faked it or if you've actually done it out of consistency. It's pretty difficult to measure if your first payout is good or bad, or if it's going to be consistent. But it's very easy to measure how much money you need to save up to provide education for your 3 kids. Okay, so it all comes back to that upper goal, and that's how you can set accurate and good goals to to make sure that everything else takes care of itself. So let's say, for example, like we said before for this member has a goal of opening a dog shelter. If he focuses on that goal, he knows that he needs to achieve 12, 24, 36 months of consistency. And in order for him to do that, he needs to follow his plan strictly. And he knows, based on his statistical proven edge in the back testing, that as long as he does that, he is going to pass his accounts, he's going to get funded, he's going to go full time. All of that stuff will happen as a side effect as long as he's focusing on his larger goals. And it's good to have goals like that that are not related to trading, because trading should be a vehicle to help you achieve other things in life. It shouldn't just be, trading is all I do. It's good, but think about the 7 streams of income that a lot of people preach about. I personally agree with that as well. Think about building those income streams and how you can do that and how you can provide a better life for your friends, your family, and for yourself. Create goals around that. It doesn't have to be something too, overextensive. If you're really struggling, have your first goal as going full-time trading and set yourself a goal that, if as long as you have 6 months of proven consistency where you're not breaking your plan but for stupid reasons or stuff like that, and you're getting consistent, regular, good payouts, then being a full-time trader can be a goal, because the side effects of that goal is going to be following your plan for 6 months straight without making any issues, receiving payouts for 6 months straight without any issues, without any admin issues, without any prop firm issues. That's why obviously Ment Funding is a great prop firm to use, because we have not denied anyone a payout. We've paid out everyone who has requested, etc., etc., etc. Plenty more reasons, but you get the point. So I hope this video has helped, and I hope this video has especially helped anyone who sets their goals like this. Forget about this. This is not a good way to set your goals. These are good ways to set your goals. Think of some ambitious goals that are specific to you and that are good for you, that actually resonate with you, that have a psychological and emotional impact on you as well. There's no point having a goal to go buy a Lamborghini, because let's face it, you watching this video right now, you likely have not even sat in a Lamborghini or driven a Lamborghini. I haven't, I've got no desire to just yet, so that shouldn't really be a goal. But if you've got kids, look at them right now and just think to yourself, I can make a goal out of them to provide them the best life ever. Let me write down 5 goals and let me write down some milestones and side effects of how I'm going to achieve that. And let me write down what I need to achieve that goal. And everything will take care of itself, all the way down to the point of you even following the course that you're with or creating a consistent strategy. Because if you've got a really supreme, fantastic goal, for example, providing education for your 3 kids, you then know that you will have to follow the course, follow the process, do the data collection, do the back testing, go into the live markets with a solid mindset and a proven statistical back tested edge. All that's done. All of that is done and dusted, and then you're just executing. But if you jump steps, then you're not aligned with your goals. Okay. So that's a lot on goals. I might do a more in-depth video on this in the future, but I just really wanted to focus on this message here and how I came up with this reply down here. And if this resonates with you, please do leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what we spoke about today. There is going to be a few more videos throughout the course of this week and over the next few weeks of more psychological, important tips like this that will actually help you get funded. Believe it or not, goal setting like this will help you get funded, because it will force you and it will rewire your brain to realize that it's so important to follow your plan and that you cannot afford any mistakes. All right. Cool. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. What are you doing? Hit it now, like right now. And also press that little bell that comes up, so when I post next, you are the first to know. Drop a like as well if you like this video, and I will catch you in the next one in a couple of days' time.